I'm gonna step back and I'm gonna just have Roscoe to come on down.
What's up with y'all, man? My name Roscoe from Hidden Valley. I know a lot of y'all know me. I used to be the same way when I was younger, until I ended up in the penitentiary doing 30 years. You may not want to listen to your parents right now, even though you know they have your best interests in heart. You know they got your best interests in heart. But you'll go out here and listen to a gang leader that don't really care nothing about you. As soon as you get locked up and get murdered or whatever the case may be, life goes on. All of my friends on my case testified against me. 19 people. 19. And I was the founder of the Hidden Valley Kings. And the gang is still in existence today. This still you go through Hidden Valley, you might not know who was who, but they know who was who. Everybody in Hidden Valley wasn't associated with kings, but everyone know who was who belonged there, who didn't belong there. When I first got locked up, I was 11 years old. By the age of 13, I had 4 bodies. 4. When I got locked up in 2007, I was charged with 32 bodies. None of it was able to be proven. So therefore, I could not be held accountable and did time for it. I was sentenced to 22 years for 50 grams of crack. That's it. 50, that's not even $2,000 worth of drugs. But then when they sent me to these penitentiaries, man, I came up through, when I first got locked up, I was 13. I didn't come home until I was 18. Then I went to the Fed 6 months later and came home when I was 26. Then I got locked up at the age of 30 and didn't come home until I was 41. So I've been incarcerated my entire life. I've been to all the rough youth centers. I've been to all the roughest federal penitentiaries in America. Big Sandy, USP Pollock, USP Longpop, USP Hazleton. These are the most dangerous prisons in America. Average 10 murders a year in these prisons. So when they tell you and showing these videos on social media of them partying in jail, that's them camps, them mediums. Penitentiaries don't fly like that. You get inside that penitentiary, you go lose. If you don't act right, you go lose your life. Because they're not playing. And once you get behind them walls, you go listen. And I ain't talking about the COs, the convicts. They run the prison. So if you go run into the CO, he gonna tell you, if you're scared, get your ass on. Because I'm here to get a paycheck, not to lose my life. You decide to be here, you deal with it. If you don't want to deal with it, go in PC, where the cow is at. If you don't know how to fight when you get behind these penitentiary walls, it's a wrap. Because there ain't no fist fights. Everything dealing with knives. Every dispute, everything deals, it's a life or death situation. It's always a life or death situation. That's why you have to learn respect when you get inside of these certain environments. Because one small ounce of respect will cost you your life. The way I'm humble because it took some real men to take me inside under their wing. I'm talking about great men like Dr. Tupac Shakur father. Sunni Ali Cody, Assata Shakur's co-defendant who's exiled in Cuba. These men raised me inside the penitentiary since I was 18 years old. And at first when I went inside the penitentiary, I couldn't be told that until I was stabbed 11 times. 11 times. Blood leaking out of me. The only thing I can think about was my mom, because I'm still a kid, I'm 18, and I'm dying. Because I went inside the penitentiary thinking I'm the most realest individual there was, not realizing that it's other people that can do things to me that I couldn't even fathom. The first streak of violence I seen was that AD shot the whole man's head off and walked around the chair swinging his head in his hands. This is the environment that waits for those who want to go inside these penitentiaries. All these gang banging. When I was in the federal penitentiary, the Bloods in Charlotte didn't claim Bloods in the penitentiary. You had the New York Bloods, you had the Cali Bloods. S.I., that's my partner. Well, until he passed away. He was the founder of 9 Trey Bloods. Peter Rolak, another great friend of mine, he in ADX, founded the Sex Money Murder. Big Meech, I know all of them. You know, and I had great reports and friendships, playing chess. Even John Gotti's brother. I knew all these individuals, man, and I learned from each and every last one of them. But when I was in there, man, I had to think to myself, like, is this the life I want to continue living? Because inside there, man, I went in as a king. I came home as a god. Because I took the time to start. It didn't make me no coward. It didn't make me a coward by educating myself, because I knew and understood that if a man don't have knowledge of self, it becomes ignorance. And that ignorance causes you to do things that you can't come back from. You can't be dealing in emotions. See, a lot of our black young men growing up in a household without a father figure. And I see a lot of people, young men, get emotional. It's not to the point where you can hold that young man at fault. He's with his mom. His mom can only do but so much. But she's a woman. So she can only give out her characteristics to her son. And as he grows up, he becomes emotional like a woman. It don't make him gay. That's just what he was brought up under. So when he gets upset, he was never taught by a man on how to reason, how to sit back and say, it's going to make sense. If an individual looking at you, you get upset and you explode on this man. But that quick 1 second, you can't get back. And then you sit in the penitentiary like, all because I got upset. It wasn't even worth it. It wasn't even worth it. And I see a lot of these individuals get inside the penitentiary and they be straight cowards. Straight cowards. On the streets, be whatever you want to be. But once you get in there, it's a wrap. Ain't no love. You can pray to God. God ain't in prison. He ain't in prison. And once you get inside there, you got to listen. It's a hierarchy. It's a hierarchy in the penitentiary. And I was at the top of the hierarchy. But I was one of the good ones at the top. Because I was taught by Black Panthers, Black Liberation Army. The same individual that taught Tupac Shakur was my educators. So when we started the Hidden Valley Kings back in 1991, I was 13 years old. 13. When it first started out, it was only about 8 of us. 8. In 5 years, it was thousands. Thousands of Hidden in Charlotte. Hundreds in Hidden Valley. And they're still over there. A lot of them my age, or just a little younger, so you don't hear much about them because they're older, but they're still in existence. You know, and I had to fall back and retire from that. Because at the end of the day, I worked 60 hours a week. I'd rather do 60 hours a week on my job than 60 years in the penitentiary. Because they go tell it. They definitely go tell it. I wasn't supposed to be released in 2030. I got locked up 2007. My release date was actually 2032. Donald Trump signed a pardon. That's the only reason why I'm here. And I got out 6 years ago. If I wouldn't have got the pardon, I'd still be in there. Fighting for my life, because everything inside that penitentiary is on racial lines. If you're a black man, you can't sit at that table because that's where the ADs and the skinheads sit. If you were blood, you can't sit over there at that table. If you were crook, you can't sit at that table. You can't even walk through and say excuse me, because anybody that walks in that direction is an immediate threat. You can't even walk to the table and say, hey man, what's up, how you doing? Because as soon as you come to that table, you telling me you finna harm me, because you ain't one of us, so why should you? I remember when I got to USP Pollock, it was a guy by the name Jeff Baldwin that we call J-Rock. He just passed about a month ago. And this guy, he taught me about being humble. And I thought he was a coward because he was too humble. So I started being disrespectful to him. But me not knowing, because I'm young-minded, that the old head took a liking to me. He saw me as like a son. So therefore he didn't want to hurt me. And he knew I was young and immature. But he already been in the penitentiary 15, 16 years. I'm just getting that. I ain't been in for a couple of years. One day I was so disrespectful that he ran up on me in my cell. He tossed me a knife, pulled out his knife. He said, we're gonna do one or two things. You put a knife fight in the cell, or your bitch ass will apologize to you. And at that moment, I knew right then and there, this was a life and death situation. Me, I apologize. For one, I was in the wrong. For two, I knew better. And three, I only did it to try to get respect from other inmates that seen me doing what I was doing to this older guy. But the joke was on me. Because this man already caught 3 bodies in the penitentiary. I was about to be the 4th one. But he had sympathy for me. He knew I was an idiot. So therefore he gave me grace. And instead of hurting me, he started teaching me. And he told me, you have to learn who your true enemy is. I'm not your enemy. Your enemy is them people that turn the door key, put that key in that door and lock you in your cell. So if you want to hurt somebody, that's who's holding you captive. That's who's holding us captive. That's what we're trying to see. Why is we hurt one another? So I had to take that in consideration. I started thinking like, and then I started going around the penitentiary and asking people about my name. They like, man, you know who that is? You know how many bodies he got in prison? Like, you tripping. And my respect for the elder went up this high. And sadly, he passed away last month. He's from Greensboro, North Carolina. But you would need to type in, and the only reason why I'm speaking about this is because a friend of mine contacted me and said he had received a phone call from someone here overhearing someone speaking about the Kings. So he asked my partner if he could come in and speak. He said, I can do the one well. I can actually go be the family himself. And let him come and speak. I wasn't prepared really for this. I just wanted to come and get you guys some type of insight on what it is that's waiting to be done. You're going through. My life is like, right now, man, I'm 47 years old. I spent 30 years of my life incarcerated. I didn't learn how to drive until I was 25. The first time I got locked up, '89. I stabbed a classmate, Hidden Valley Elementary. On that offense alone, I did 2 days in a youth facility called Gatlin. From that day on, my life was on in like a spiral. And I was always loyal to the game. Always. You can Google it. I always stayed loyal to my partners. But at the end of the day, none of them was loyal to me. I was facing the death penalty. The death penalty. But I love my homeboys so much to the fact I was willing to accept whatever they was throwing at me. I was willing to accept that. And when I found out that these dudes turned state evidence, I balled up in my cell and cried. Not about the time. The time don't mean nothing. I've been doing that shit since I was 11. It was the hurt, the pain, that the niggas that I love betrayed me. They betrayed me. And right now I'm getting teary-eyed just thinking about it. Because I would have died for them. And they betrayed me for their freedom. They was willing to kill me, give me the death penalty, so they can get out a couple years early. And when Donald Trump signed my pardon, and when my lawyer told me and met me at that front gate, he said, Russ, I want to tell you something. If you think you're finna get out here and get back in the streets, I'm gonna let you know 8 out of every 10 criminal in Charlotte is an informant. So when you see your homeboy driving big rims or driving a Hellcat, you know he ain't really balling like that. Guess where we get the money from? Guess where we get the money from? Federal agents. Last year, the FBI spent $500 million on paying informants. Paying informants. They know you're going to commit a crime before you do it because your homeboy's sitting there texting. He's sitting there texting the whole time. So y'all got to wake up, man, and know who is who. And it's okay to be, academic. It's okay to read. It's okay to learn. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So we got to get out of that mindset of it's cool to be ignorant. Ain't nothing cool about that. Because ignorance can cost you your life. Ain't nothing cool about being ignorant, man. When I was in prison, I probably read over literally 2,000 books. Literally. And these books help me shape my mind. It's like working out. When you work out, you build muscles. When you read, you build your brain to allow your mind to be able to connect with that brain. And the only reason why I'm really here, man, because I love the youth. You'll see me in the streets. I might be on Sugar Creek. I might be on Rocktrine. I might be in the Valley. I might be on the East Side. But the youth know me. They know I don't bang, but they respect me because they still know that I am who I am. And like I said earlier when I opened up, I know a lot of y'all don't want to be here. So I'm not going to hold up too much more of your time for the simple fact, I know how I feel because I've been on that other side. But I was in here when they were telling me to slow down and think about my future, I wouldn't listen. Until I ended up doing 30 years incarcerated. So now I'm here to try to I'm really speaking to the young black men. The young black men can get right, then the young black women can get right.
Right.
Because they gonna follow your lead. We set the trend. We set the trend. So I just want y'all to know, man, if you don't get nothing else out of this speech, man, one, know I got love for you. Even though I don't know you, but I know you in spirit. Because whatever y'all going through, trust and believe.